This day of your time. How are you all? All right. All right, thank you. We would like to begin this transmission by reminding you that it is titled Mirror, Mirror. The idea behind this concept is that you have for some time known that certain things that exist in your physical reality, certain things that exist in the cosmos, can sometimes function as permission slips or symbols or reflections of things going on in not only your individual consciousness, but the collective consciousness of your world. So the idea is that these reflections can be looked at, can be understood in a manner as to reveal and illuminate some of the changes going on within you that you may not necessarily immediately see physically, but can give you an idea of what's happening deep within your consciousness that may ultimately move forward and crystallize enough to begin to experience those reflections in your physical world. One such thing that you have used for some time is the permission slip that you have called astrology, where you are looking to the signs and symbols in the stars and planets to be somewhat representative or reflective of certain themes you have chosen to experience in life. Now again, these things do not in any way, shape, or form control you, but they can reflect what's already been laid down by you from a higher level of consciousness. And in using them as that symbolic mirror, it can, depending upon whether you have an affinity for that particular kind of sensing, be used to help bring insight to the things that may not be immediately evident within your consciousness, things that might be in your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind, revealing more about yourself to yourself in such a manner as to allow you to move forward in your life in a more clear and conscious way. But we would like to address and use this concept in a different way now. We have begun to talk about, in these transmissions, the changes that are now going on your planet. Obviously, you are having a lot of fun in your country at this particular moment. As we said, as the ramifications of all the things that changed in the fall of 2016. So let us continue to illuminate some of the things now that are going on and represented in the cosmos as to what is physicalizing in your world. We have discussed from time to time the idea of parallel realities, and that the concept of you experiencing time is actually your consciousness shifting through billions of different versions of Earth, billions of different parallel realities every single second, and by doing so creating this illusion you call time and space and change. But we have also begun to remind you that as you now recognize many different people think in one way and other people think and believe in another way, and others and others and others, you are beginning to see what appears to be a divided culture, polarization, all sorts of very opposing opinions, and so on and so forth. But you're seeing far more than that. The idea is that you're actually beginning to see the splitting physically, not metaphorically anymore, the splitting physically into different parallel reality tracks. We have used the analogy before of different train tracks leaving a station. And if you are on one train, you may still be able to look across and see the other train that is leaving the station next to you, but eventually those tracks will diverge. And over time, you will find that it will be more of a challenge to see the other trains on the other tracks or even reach those other trains, and eventually you will no longer see them at all. You'll be in your own reality experience, only experiencing the things that are relevant for the train that you are on. Now, the idea is that this split has now begun to happen physiologically. You may not immediately recognize this because you can still see what's going on the other trains. You can still see that there are people who are vibrating at different frequencies from you that are vibrationally incompatible with what you may be experiencing or prefer to experience in your reality. Nevertheless, just because you can still see them doesn't necessarily mean that you actually are existing physically in the same reality. At this particular moment in the split, it is transparent enough and close enough in frequency that you can still perceive other parallel realities, but you have actually started to diverge physiologically into different parallel time tracks. The symbol that represents this idea in the cosmos with the stars and the planets has been scientific discoveries that you have made in recent times. The first one of significance being that your astronomers discovered what you would call a relatively Earth-like planet around your closest star, Proxima Centauri, that could possibly support life as you understand it. The idea of your search for Earth-like planets is part and parcel of your consciousness understanding that you are splitting into different parallel versions of Earth. So it's reflected by the fact that the first one you've discovered is around the next closest star to you, and that right there, as soon as you discovered and recognized that idea, was the beginning of the actual physical split into different Earths. But you started with the idea of yours and that one. So immediately you created the idea of two completely separate, different parallel time tracks, parallel reality experiences of the idea of an Earth. As many of you know, however, more recently, your astronomers have reported that they discovered another star system, what you call a red dwarf by the name of TRAPPIST-1, that actually has, amazingly enough, 7 Earth-like planets orbiting it. That's a very rare find. And the fact that you actually found it that quickly is another indication of the timing of the splitting into parallel realities. And so you went then from 2 all of a sudden to 9, including the 7, the one around Proxima Centauri, and your own. So now you have a cosmic reflection of the fact that the split into parallel realities is now inclusive of 9 different parallel tracks. This will continue as you discover more and more Earth-like planets around other stars that will continue to represent and symbolize energetically and reflectively the idea of the actual physical splitting into different parallel tracks. And as this gains momentum, you will begin to experience more of the physical results of that split. Being able to know that you can accelerate in the direction that you prefer to experience and experience over time less and less and less of those parallel tracks that contain realities you don't prefer to experience. Again, this may take a little time, but that's all right. We're simply letting you know that what's going on now is beyond metaphor, is beyond something that's just happening as a concept. It is actually now physically splitting, even though you may not immediately be able to see that. The signs that it is truly happening physically will also grow stronger over time. Now, remember, again, it doesn't matter so much what's happening in the realities that you can still see and perceive. It really matters most what you do with that, how you respond to that, even if it doesn't appear to be changing outwardly. So the idea that we gave you before about the fact that perhaps prior to the great changes that happened in your fall of 2016, you felt like maybe you were floating down a little peaceful stream. And then suddenly, as those changes occurred in an unexpected way, you found yourself being jostled by rapids. But as we have said, if you learn how to ride the rapids, if you learn how to balance yourself and go through the rapids in a balanced way, you will actually be able to get downstream much, much faster than originally you would have. So the idea also is coupled with the fact that since what happened for so many people was tremendously unexpected, it allows you to go within your mind, well, if that could happen, if something that unexpected could happen, anything can happen. All bets are off, as you say in your city. And therefore, you can now use the idea of the unexpected to your advantage to know that if that can happen, then anything that I'm dreaming of that's true for me can also happen. So you can use that energy, even though it may be representative to many people of things they don't prefer, you can use that energy to accelerate you in the direction that you do by letting go of how it appears and just using the momentum that it has caused and the breakout that it has caused, breaking from the status quo that it has caused, to know that now you are actually more free than before to create the reality experience that you prefer, and the reflection in the cosmos of all the different Earth-sized planets you are now discovering are a reflection that you have started that physical split. And the more you stay in the energy and the state of being that you prefer to be, and the more you act from that state in your life, and the more you define everything that happens in your life in a way that allows you to extract a positive and beneficial effect from it, the sooner and stronger you will experience the physicality of the splits into the different parallel realities that we are now discussing with you. And you will see things changing within your world in ways you couldn't have imagined before, in ways you never would have thought could actually occur. But you will see an acceleration in this between now, specifically, your years of 2020. There will be many different things going on. If you take advantage of them in all the ways your imagination can, in positive ways, you will find that by the end of that period, you're going to be in a very different place in your lives, a place that would be more reflective and more conducive to experiencing your truth, your preference, in the way that you know is aligned with your core essential being. So, in looking to these reflections and paying attention to the discoveries that you're making in the outer reality reflection, you can then gauge what is really going on within the collective consciousness and even within your own individual consciousness as you become more and more aware of these symbols reflecting these ideas to you. Is this making sense to you? Yes. All right. So please have fun with it. Don't worry. Don't react to the things that you don't prefer, because remember, even if something crops up in your life you don't prefer, it's still there for a reason you can use in a positive way. Make it part of your excitement that things crop up you don't prefer, because it's going to give you an opportunity to see, by contrast, what it is you do prefer more clearly. That's how to use that in a positive way, instead of simply matching the vibration of what you don't prefer by moping about it. The idea is nothing affects you until you agree to be affected. You are changing your own energy to match the frequencies of things you believe are true. So watch your definitions and create new definitions that work for you, instead of just assuming that the ones that don't work for you are facts that you cannot change. The only facts that exist in your creation are the 5 facts we call the 5 laws. You exist, everything is here and now. The one is all, the all are one. What you put out is what you get back. Everything changes except the laws. Everything else other than those facts are not facts. They are perspectives, they are opinions, they are beliefs. And you can change every single one of those. Make sense? Yes. All right. We thank you for allowing us to reflect this back to you this day in this magic mirror. And we ask in return, what way may we now be of service to you? You may begin with your dialogues and questions if you wish. Yes?
I'm grateful to be here and feel your energy.
And you as well.
So, I experienced death in the family.
All right.
Which laid very heavy in me.
All right. And?
And reviewing what I know mainly from teachings I heard from you, I see that I don't have the whole picture. Yes. I did address you on the subject before, but I still insist because I really would like to get over this.
All right, but again, it's all right for you to grieve if you wish. That's fine. But nevertheless, the person is still alive. They're just in a different state. So sometimes when people decide to die before others, what they're doing is they're luring you into more understanding of the spirit self, because now your attention is on them. You are attempting to reach them. And so they are, in a sense, luring you into understanding more about that level and discovering more about yourself as well, spiritually speaking.
Yeah.
So you still have a relationship, you still have a dialogue. It's all right for you to grieve, but I will tell you that the more you allow that to not necessarily represent a sad reality, the easier it will be for you to hear what they're saying to you. First of which is, I'm still here! So it's all right, you can take your time, but they are helping, and the sooner that you can understand you're still in a relationship, the sooner you'll be able to hear them more easily. And then they can just go, I'm still here.
Yeah.
We can still talk, we can still play, we can still be together. Yes?
Yes, yes.
So, now, one moment.
Yeah.
Now, this may help you, and this is a suggestion from them. Are you ready?
Very.
I want you to pretend to know what it feels like to be dead.
Oh. I don't think this is a hard part.
All right. So, feel that you are now in their place, in spirit. And they are the ones still in physical life.
So this is a very good point.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I sometimes make them.
For where I am standing from here to there,
Yes.
I see things that, of course, it is my reality, but
Yes.
things could have been different.
Yes.
If they only knew a little bit more,
That's all right.
they would do a little different.
Everything works out in one way or another. Everyone is eternal and infinite, and you have all the time in creation because it's timeless. Nothing has to happen all the time in one life.
But so that is another link to what I do not understand yet. I have yet to understand.
Yes.
And that is when you say that we are, I just wrote it today, you spoke about it, that nothing can join my frame since I exist already. When you gave the example of still frames in a film.
Yes,
So-
you exist, but you can have different experiences of your existence.
What does that mean?
Means you can change the way you experience existence, but you can't change the fact that you exist. So that which exists always exists because that's the fundamental quality, existence. You cannot become non-existent. There's no room in non-existence for the things that exist because non-existence is already full of all the things that will never exist.
Yes,
And by definition, really, non-existence doesn't exist.
I accept it.
Well, then anyone who changes form, like going from physical to non-physical reality, still exists. They are just experiencing their existence in a different way.
But is this the end of the road for them as a physical existence?
No, not necessarily.
Would they incarnate to a new body?
They might, but again, you are speaking linearly. You're
I do.
describing an experience they can have, but that's not what's mechanically happening because everything exists all at once. But you can create the experience as if you have one life, go into spirit, have another life, go into spirit, have another life, go into spirit. But that's the way you're perceiving the structure. The fact that all those lives exist simultaneously is what is true as a structure. But you can experience them linearly if you wish. Again, going back to the film strip analogy, if you're the projectionist, you can hold the film strip out and you can look at all the frames between your fingers at the same time. Or you can run them through the projector onto the movie screen and see them one frame at a time. The fact that you can experience them one frame at a time as a movie doesn't take away from the fact that the film strip already exists and all the frames exist before you put it in the projector.
Except that in my reality, I look at it that each frame is a still frame. It's
It
not an
is.
alive frame.
Of course, but that's the point. You make it live by projecting your consciousness through the still frames, just like you project the projector light through the still frames on a film strip. Each frame is just a structure. The life doesn't happen until you allow yourself to project through a series of them. That's what creates time, change, space. You understand? But the structure is still there. The structure itself doesn't have any experience.
Why does it give me the feeling of limitation when I...
Because of how you're defining it, because of how you're looking at it in a limited way. You need to expand your definition into something less limited.
Is it my personality that insists that I need more than just this incarnation, then I'm done and I'm part of this oversoul, and being part of the oversoul make me lesser?
Why would being part of an oversoul make you lesser? It's not, you're looking at, I see what you're saying. You're looking at it again in a limiting way. The idea is that you don't merge with the oversoul and lose your individual identity. The idea is that you are the oversoul from that perspective. When you have this idea of merging with God, it's not that your individual personality is lost in the greater idea of God. It's that when that experience happens, you're the only thing that's left. You have all the experiences from your point of view. So you are God. That's all that's left at that level. You don't lose who you are. You simply become greater. But it's still you. You still think of yourself as you, having that experience as God, or as the oversoul, or as a soul, or as a physical being. It all still happens from your point of view. You don't ever lose yourself in anything. Does that help? Or is that just confusing you?
Not confusing, it just takes me so... Oversoul is a combination of souls like me that is expressing, right?
In a sense, yes. That's its experience. It experiences all the lives that it is simultaneously, all the souls that it is simultaneously.
So each soul will be the only soul then?
Each soul, by definition, is a component of the oversoul, but each soul can experience itself as the oversoul. Yes.
Yeah.
It's both.
Yeah.
It's not this or that. It's this and that. It's what has in ancient times been called Indra's net, the necklace of pearls. Every single pearl in the necklace contains a reflection of every other pearl. So you only need to go to one pearl to get the information of the entire necklace, because all the other pearls are reflected in every pearl. So you can have an individual pearl, but an individual pearl can contain the information of the entire necklace. Does that help?
Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you, Pearl.
Thank you. So before I leave this subject, I would like to still talk about my in-laws that died.
Yes, but one moment, we weren't done giving you the idea, because the idea of what we suggested for you is a technique, a permission slip technique that many of you can use when you have the experience of someone close to you dying. Flip positions. Imagine them still living and you being the one that died. You being in spirit, looking at them, and start to relate to them from that level. You will start to identify what they're experiencing, and you will start to blend the two together in a way that will allow you to feel more connected by taking their place, in a sense, and letting them take yours, as if it had happened the other way around.
I am going to experience it at home when I'll be at the quiet of my place, but I still would like to say this, and of course it will be from a limited place, but that's why I'm talking to you. And that is, if I were to be in their place, in where, as a present moment now, I would feel very relief, and I would see things much smaller than we see it when we are alive here.
Much smaller?
Meaning not that much of a big deal.
Correct.
Yes. And I would just float along and say, oh, well.
No, you will have things to do. Spirits don't just hang around. Oh, well, I guess I'll just wait for them to contact me, I suppose. They still have lives. They still have things they can learn. They have things they can explore. They have things to do. They can be there when you need them to be there, because they can hear you better than you can hear them. They will know when you need them. That doesn't mean they're hanging around doing nothing, waiting for you.
No, I know they're busy with their own little things, the big things there. I understand that,
All right.
they have their own reality there, which
Yes.
I cannot really
That's all
express
right.
here. But for what I would consider doing wrongness when they were alive, how
Yes.
would they fix it now?
How would they fix?
Well, because they are the one who did the wrongness.
Well, they will go through what is typically called a life review.
Yes.
And they will learn from their mistakes. But it's not a judgment, it's an opportunity to grow, to change,
Yes.
to learn.
But that will not affect the damage that they did here.
No, that's up to you.
It's not about me, it's about two other girls in the
Then
family.
it's up to them. And it's up to maybe you to help them understand.
Meaning that they will go through forgiveness and just move on?
They can, if they wish to. They don't have to dwell on the idea.
What if I had the concept of jumping timelines and I know it's my imagination, but that could work too.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
but you can jump as many timelines as you want, but you're not going to avoid process that's necessary because the process is the point.
Yeah.
So you can reduce the process to whatever the minimum amount is that's truly required for the transformation in a way that will allow you to appreciate the result, but you can't go any sooner than that, any briefer than that, any shorter than that.
Yeah, I'll shortcut myself, and that's not
Yes.
so. Yeah.
But by letting go and divesting yourself of as many negative beliefs as you can, you will shorten any process down to exactly what is necessary. And it will be pleasant. It will still be something that you can enjoy. Yes?
Yeah, I think from hearing you, I'll simply do with the girls. If there will be an opening for me to help them,
All right.
I will just do that. And
Well, one of the first things you can possibly explain, if they're willing to absorb it, is that no one really in their core ever means to do damage to someone else.
yes,
They're attempting to act out of love, but if they have not been taught the tools of how to express it in alignment with love, they will still try to express it even though it may be damaging. So the first thing to do is understand that they simply may not have known what they were doing because they didn't have the tools necessary to express it in a loving way.
yeah,
You understand?
yeah, I do.
All right.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Yes, thank you, but I have more. You
Well,
don't mind.
not now, you don't.
No? I thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And I would like to say thank you to Willa also.
All right, well, one moment. And what would you be thanking me for?
Oh my God. Hello.
Hello. Good day.
Very good day. It's a very good day to speak to you.
All right, what's on your tinker?
Thing. Oh, you're so adorable.
You just wanted to say howdy.
I do. A few days ago, I was in my forest walking,
Yes.
and I was filled with emotions, and I sat down and started talking to you, and I kind of heard you answering me. I don't know if you really did, but it was in my...
Well, it may be my echo. It may be that my consciousness is so connected to the trees that we have a network that can conjoin us in many different ways, and I will receive from it whatever I need to receive as you receive whatever you need to receive then.
It's wonderful.
Yes, it is.
I'm
That's part of the network. The Bashar will be talking about that upcoming in a transmission called the Nature Social Network.
and what you were talking, and that's why I did the walk, is the cryptic, becoming the cryptic. And
Grounding yourself is a wise thing always, for when you're heading to the stars, you better have your feet on the ground so you don't get lost.
that's a good advice.
And I thank you for wanting to say hello, because it gives me an opportunity and a timing to come through and say something I've been wanting to say.
Oh, you're so welcome. Please say.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. There have been people on your planet that have been depicting me in images, drawn what they think I look like. And even though I have been described as having what you might call an elfin face, it's just a description of a style of look. I'm not an elf. I'm a hybrid. I do not have pointed ears. So please, you can draw me that way if you want, but it isn't me. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to remind people what I really am and what I'm really not.
You're beautiful without seeing you. You're beautiful because
Oh,
you
well, thank you
radiate the
very much.
beauty.
If you could see me, I'd probably be blushing, but maybe not. But I thank you for the opportunity to voice myself, and I bid you good day, Cookie.
Good day. Thank you.
Did you have a nice chat?
Hello again.
And you good day.
Since the theme is mirror, mirror, I was wondering like why we humans we can see our feet, toes, but when it comes to our face, we can just see just a little bit of a part of our nose, and the rest is just in the mirror. Like
Because you need to see yourself through other eyes. You need to see yourself through others' eyes, because everyone is a reflection for you if you know how to look. So looking in the mirror reminds you that everyone else you look at is in some way, shape, or form, even if they don't look identical, a mirror reflection that gives you more understanding about yourself. That's why.
so when I look in the mirror, actually what I see is what I see in other people.
What I'm saying is when you look at other people, you're seeing yourself in another form.
And when I look in the mirror,
Yes.
what do I see?
You are seeing an opportunity to decide whether you are in the state you prefer to be in or not. And in actual fact, now, this is a bit esoteric for many of you, but I'll say it anyway. It doesn't always happen this way, but you actually are looking into a parallel reality that is so identical, you think it's a reflection of you, because they're doing exactly the same thing at the same time. That's actually what a mirror is. Not only does it actually reflect light back to you from your reality, it actually has another component where information and light is coming to you from a parallel reality that is almost identical to yours, so that you can understand that this is going on. As your senses expand, you'll begin to perceive this more and more. And there's a way to use this and start communicating with that parallel self in the mirror in many different ways that are very interesting. We won't go into all of that yet, but we will give you this first hint that that is actually, aside from a reflection, another being in a parallel reality that looks almost identical to the way you think you look. And they're getting the same thing from you. We'll go into this and the techniques of permission slips that may help work this out for you at another time. Just wanted to drop the hint.
That sounds very interesting, very exciting.
It is.
Another thing, like I'm following my excitement, and the last few years, I'm just finding myself buying diaries and notebooks and
Yes.
colored pens and pencils, but I never write. Like they just stay there all the time. I say,
Well,
oh,
all
I
right.
will go out and
Not
play.
that you have to. Buying notebooks and colored pens may be exciting unto itself. You don't necessarily have to be the one that writes in them. Maybe you are buying them for other people to write in them. We don't know. You might be the one that needs to write in them, but you have to answer that question honestly for yourself. Are you holding yourself back from writing something in them?
I don't know. Like when I'm thinking to write something,
Yes. What comes up? What comes up?
what comes up, maybe like the story of my life, the way I would like to be. But instead
Yes.
of writing, I would just lay in my bed and just picture.
All right. Maybe you're using the book as a permission slip to rewrite the story within yourself. And you don't necessarily need to write it out on paper. You can use it that way if, again, that is actually an honest expression of using it as a permission slip. And it is not that you're actually holding yourself back from writing something that you could be writing that would be exciting. So you have to make the determination for yourself as to whether that is simply being used that way and that's sufficient, or whether there is something else that you need to do with the book. It's up to you to decide.
I have a terrible handwriting. That's another reason.
Is that the reason you're not writing? Because you think you have terrible handwriting?
No, it's funny. I just feel like I will be the only one who would understand what I'm writing.
Is that a bad thing? How do you know that writing it out, even if you're the only one who understands it, wouldn't amplify your ability to get in touch with yourself? Maybe no one else needs to understand it. Who says someone else has to read your notebook?
Nobody.
Well, is that the thing that's stopping you? That you think someone else needs to understand your writing?
No, probably it's just the idea that I would like someone else to understand me.
All right, but in order for anyone else to really understand you, don't you have to understand yourself first?
Yes, that's true. That's very
I know.
true.
So maybe if you start writing and it helps you understand yourself better, maybe other people will also understand you more clearly.
That makes perfect sense. And another question, like, since I'm working with children,
Yes.
with the small ones,
Yes.
they sleep and cry a lot, and I know it's not all the time because they are hungry or they are cranky. Like, why that's happened when they are small? Like, what?
Well, why don't you ask them to write about it? Maybe they will reveal some things to you they don't know how to say. Or maybe they could draw you a picture of how they're feeling when they're cranky.
I see.
Why don't you ask them to do that? Oh, you feel cranky today? All right, that's interesting, that's exciting. What does it look like to be cranky? Draw me a picture of being cranky. What does that look like to you? And then when they're drawing, suddenly you'll realize they're not cranky anymore because they've got the cranky out on the page. Yes?
Yes.
You're a teacher, use your imagination.
Thank
Yes?
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you for being here.
Well, I'm not there, but thank you for the sentiment.
Thank you. I had a question about 5-MeO-DMT. It's
Yes.
toad medicine, and I've heard you talk about ayahuasca and DMT.
Yes.
And I know that you can achieve higher density states from taking these permission slips, and I'm wondering
Yes.
how that compares to toad medicine or 5-MeO-DMT.
The more natural, the more effective is all we are allowed to say.
So what sort of levels do you think one would normally attain, or what densities would one attain?
Definitely fifth, possibly sixth, especially with ayahuasca. There are other things that might actually allow you to perceive seventh and eighth, but we'll get to those another time. All we do is remind you that these experiences are for the purpose of training you into recognizing the state and creating it for yourself without necessarily always needing the teacher. Yes?
Yes, but so would these experiences generally be helpful for someone that's looking to?
They can
themselves?
be, as long as they're not being used as a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes. Thank you.
Does that answer your question sufficiently?
Yes.
Anything
day.
else?
I'm actually with him as well.
All right.
So, I just had a question about highest excitement.
Yes.
Could you just define it real quick before I ask my question?
Well,
What
again,
exactly
when we
does it-
say highest excitement, when we say passion, we're talking about that bodily sensation that is a recognition of the vibrational frequency of your true essential self that comes in a form where you are so engaged with something, so focused, feeling so creative with it, feeling so expressive with it, you can think of nothing else but that thing at that moment. Will that do?
Yeah, that's fine. So what if you, following your highest excitement leads to make other people sad or upset?
Can't.
Why not?
Because they get to choose how they can experience themselves based on what it is you may choose to do that might be representative of your truth.
So what if they're choosing to be sad?
Well,
And
you can let them know they don't have to, but you also have to let them choose that if they insist on doing so. If you know that you are not deliberately doing something that is out of alignment, out of integrity, and they still choose to react negatively to the idea of your excitement and your truth, if that's what it truly is, if you're being honest within yourself about it, then you have to allow them the opportunity to know that they can change, or allow them the opportunity to not change. Because many times people on your planet, when they see someone who is living their joy, if they have a belief within themselves that that's not something that they have the ability to do, and they're afraid to look at the belief within themselves, they'll go into denial that they have such a belief because they're afraid to look at it, and they'll just project onto you the resentment for reminding them that they have the ability they don't believe they have.
But does that mean that you're acting in self-interest? And if you are,
Does what mean that?
If you're following your highest excitement, does that mean you're selfish? And then
No.
But then
of course not.
What if it's still resulting to a net negative? What if?
Again, understand the definition. If you are being honest about what your excitement is, and it's not simply your anxiety being disguised as excitement, you clear?
Mm-hmm.
And it's truly who you are, then it is, in a sense, in your self-interest, but it's not selfish. Because being your true self is the most selfless thing you can do for someone else, because then they get to know who you are and whether or not they want to choose to be in a relationship with who you actually are. If they choose to feel that your reflection of your truth is something that they can't handle, that's their choice. But you have to be clear within yourself that you're not out of integrity by what it is you're choosing to do, and that it is truly a representation of your actual vibrational essence, your passion, your excitement, your truth. And that's okay that it is for yourself, because if you're not yourself, how can you help anyone else anyway? Yes? How can you be of service to others if you are not first servicing yourself? If you're not yourself, you can't help anyone.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
But I will also point out the idea that many times people on your planet have a little bit of an erroneous idea of what it means to serve the self. When you serve others, you are serving yourself. So if you understand the connection, and you're being yourself and acting as an example to others of what they could choose to experience for themselves, you are serving others by being yourself.
Yeah, so I get that, but even so, let's say they still choose to be upset over
What
that,
are you going to do about that? Force them to change?
No, but that still means that you're affecting them now.
No, you're not. It means they're choosing to affect themselves that way.
But by you performing the actions,
but they've attracted you into their lives, haven't they? Haven't they? Isn't it a co-creation?
I don't understand what you're saying.
It's not one-sided. If they have attracted someone into their lives who is living their truth, then some part of them wanted to see that, didn't they? Wanted to experience that, didn't they? Or they wouldn't have attracted you. They wouldn't even know you. They would never come across you. So obviously, even though they may deny that they want to see an example of someone living their truth, on a higher level, the only reason you could possibly be in their lives at all is if some part of them wanted to see someone living their truth, so that maybe over time they might ultimately remind themselves that they can do that too. Not that they have to do it in the moment that they interact with you. But it's serving some purpose, even of theirs, that you're interacting. There are no accidents. It's all an orchestration. Now, they may deny it at first, but it's still an orchestration. You can't be there for no reason. You can't be interacting with them for no reason on their part. They are co-creating the experience, co-orchestrating the experience with you. You're not necessarily all getting the same thing out of it, but it's still an orchestration, it's still a co-creation, and it still serves some purpose for every party involved. So you're not forcing anything if you're just being yourself and you wind up being in their lives. They have also played their part in attracting someone like you into their reality. Let them deal with it. Yes?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Thank you.
I just have another question, just out of curiosity.
Yes.
So what happens after your physical life on this planet when you said the spirits
you can do
have
a lot
their
of
own
things.
What do you do? What can you do?
Well, you can experience the idea of having another life. You can go and visit other dimensions. You can be born on another planet. Whatever you imagine.
But where are you? Are you
here, in a different state? Remember, everything is here. It will appear to be somewhere else, but that's just appearance because of the different vibratory level. I'll put it to you this way, using the old analogy of your television. You're watching one program. That's a certain frequency. That's a certain experience, yes? Mm-hmm. You change the channel. Now you're watching another program. Totally different reality. It's in the same TV, isn't it? Mm-hmm. There you go. It's all in the same TV. It's all happening here and now, but it's on different frequencies. So when you're operating at a certain frequency, such as a certain non-physical reality frequency, it looks like, it appears like you're completely somewhere else. You're not. You're right here on a different frequency, having a different program.
So can spirits communicate with one another, and do they have emotion?
Of course they can.
And
more easily than you communicate. Because it's telepathic. There's no need for words there. They just know. They just send. You just know. You just receive.
Do they have emotion? Or?
Yes, but not exactly in the same way that you do. It's a much bigger idea. It's a much different expression.
Okay.
Well, you'll know when you get there. You'll understand. The closest analogy maybe we can make is if you have a dream and the dream is very real, yes? Mm-hmm. And you wake up in the morning and you go, wow, that was so real, but now I'm awake and this is who I really am. Death is similar. When you die, it's kind of like, oh, as real as that physical life was, that was a dream. This is who I really am. So the comparison is similar. Just as you can be very different in a dream, but it seems so real, and then you wake up and go, well, no, this is really me. It's a similar kind of shift, where now the physical life, though you hold on to the experience, seems like a dream and fades in a sense, and now you kind of wake up into your real self, and you go, oh, right, I remember, this is who I really am. So it's sort of a similar feeling. And now you can go off and do whatever you imagine you would like to do, just as you do in physical life. But you have more access to more things on that level because you're not as bound by the concepts of space and time because you're not operating within that particular dream framework anymore. You're operating in another one that's more expanded by definition.
Is the experience still an experience of continuity, similar to how we experience physical?
It can be, but the point is it doesn't have to be. You can create a very continuous experience. You can shift things instantaneously. That's part of not having the same space-time lag in non-physical reality. If you want to imagine in non-physical reality that there's a huge mansion or a huge mountain in front of you, it will instantly appear. And you can interact with it as solidly as you interact with any solid object in physical reality. But as soon as you think you would like something else there and imagine something else there, no time lag. Bang! Something else is there, or you're somewhere else.
And so what prevents us from manifesting that in physical reality?
The idea that you're in a time frame. The idea that it takes time to do things. The idea that you want to experience the process of change. Now, you're getting faster and faster as you remember more and more of who you are and get your vibration up higher, closer to non-physical reality. You'll experience manifestations faster and faster. But the whole point of physical reality and operating from a space-time framework is to actually experience things in a slower way so you can savor the process and the experience of creation and change, which is valid unto itself as an experience you can't have in spirit in the same way. It's all valid, just different ways of doing things. Does the snail actually think it's moving slowly? No. For itself, it's moving perfectly. But that's what a snail is. It's having a snail experience. It's not having a roadrunner experience. It's having a snail experience. A snail experience means you're going to move a little slower than most life forms on the earth, but that's okay. That's what it's about. So having a physical experience means you're going to experience some space and time. That's what it's about. It gives you time to appreciate things, time to savor things, time to learn, grow, change, discover yourself from a new perspective. If you only existed in a timeless state, nothing would change. You wouldn't grow. So you create this idea, you impose this idea on your consciousness of process, of change, of time and space. It's tools, it's the way you paint, it's colors on your palette. It's enriching your experience of yourself to have these colors on your palette instead of just one color. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
I just have one more question. This is the last one. What happens if everyone adopts, I guess, the principles and heuristics that you provide?
Then
and
you
if
live
everyone in
like
the
we
world in
do
an
on
ideal
our world.
So
You
is
live in
that-
perfect synchronism.
Is that the ultimate, like...
No, it's not an ultimate. There are many other worlds and many other experiences. But generally speaking, you will experience more of what we experience. Your life will be perfect synchronism.
So what-
Everything will happen in perfect timing.
And what if, in order to do that,
I
two
thought
people...
you said that was the last question.
This is like a... Okay.
Oh, this is the sneaky part two?
This is like a part 2.
All right.
If everyone follows their highest excitement...
Yes.
And two people follow their highest excitement, but it's contradictory...
Can't be. You have an incorrect definition of excitement. It can't be contradictory because being contradictory is not a definition of excitement. Look at a puzzle, a picture puzzle. Every single puzzle piece is a certain shape, yes? But they all fit. So when you are the shape you truly are, you automatically fit with everyone else's shape if they're being the shape they truly are. You can't have a contradictory shape when you are truly the piece you are. So when you say, well, what if I'm following my excitement, but I can have a contradictory experience? You can't. You're having a different definition than a definition of excitement. That's a totally different experience. Following excitement and having a contradictory experience with someone else is not a definition of excitement. It's a different definition. Does that help?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Wow, this is cool.
There's that temperature again.
Pleasure to be interacting with you.
And you as well.
So my question is about spirit guides
Yes.
when they introduce themselves to you.
When?
Right.
Well, most guides will remain relatively unobtrusive. Sometimes you may know more about them, sometimes not. Most guides, their job is to help you become your own best guide, so they'll usually remain relatively in the background. They will usually use what is in front of your face to deliver a message. They will get it through to you through synchronicity more than anything else, because again, it's just their job to suggest, not to tell you what to do.
Well, I had an experience where
Yes?
I was watching a YouTube video,
Yes.
and I felt like I began to kind of channel the
Yes.
person who was in the video. The person
right.
is dead.
Yes? So?
And I started crying,
All right.
and I had this experience where I was like, whoa, like a channeling experience, you know what I mean?
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
And so, what does that have to do with this?
How much of that is created by me, and how much of that is like a soul agreement, or like, am I just creating this in my head, or what is? I'm trying to understand it.
Well, it's both. You're trying to segregate something out that doesn't need to be segregated. Why can't it be both?
What do you mean?
What do I mean? You're asking, is it this or is it that?
Yeah.
I'm saying it can be both. I'm saying it can be you're creating the experience and others are helping you create the experience, and it can be something coming from your guides as well as something coming from your higher mind, as well as something coming from you, as well as something coming from other connections you have, as well as something coming from the dead person. It can be a combination of things. It depends on the moment. It depends on what works at that moment.
Yeah.
It can be many things. But the point is, who cares? The information, the experience is the point. Why does it really matter whether it was 7% Harvey, 20% me, 40% that guide over there? Who cares? If you need to know those things, that information will be a part of what you get. More often than not, knowing that kind of stuff just clutters up your ability to actually have the experience for the purpose the experience exists.
Okay.
Does that help?
Definitely.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah.
And by the way, that was 100% me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My next question is about numerology.
Numerology.
Yes.
All right, and you already know that that's a permission slip, yes?
Sure.
All right. So, what about it?
I mean, is it not when you're looking at numbers, you're looking at the fabric of existence, correct?
In some sense, you are looking at a representation of the fabric of existence,
Sure.
not the fabric itself.
Right. Okay. I'm curious about like with the connection of like a person's numerology
Yes.
chart
Yes.
and like soul age.
Soul age.
Yeah, like a soul's age.
Well, souls don't really have an age, except in the context of where they may, for one reason or another, freeze themselves into a time frame, space, network in order to accomplish certain things. And you can, in some senses, give an age to that experience of the soul or within the soul, but that
Right,
doesn't
right,
mean
right.
that's the age of the soul.
Sure.
And so,
I'm just curious, do master numbers, well, because, okay, so,
yes, there are such things as recognitions through numerical systems that there are certain patterns of energy within the framework of existence that have certain functions, that have certain effects, yes. But that's just part of recognizing the patterns in the overall consciousness of existence.
yeah,
It's like reading a language. Yes?
yeah,
All right. Nevertheless, it's still a permission slip.
sure. Why is it that most numerologists only consider 11 and 22 as master numbers?
Well, some consider 33 and
some
more.
What
yes.
about 44, 55, and
They can, but those represent realms that are in some sense beyond what you consider to be your physical reality. Therefore, in some ways, many of them don't relate to that idea. It's not necessarily always relevant to your reality.
yeah. So if somebody's numerology comes out to that,
Yes.
it means, so if it's 55, you just call it a 1. 55 it's not really a master number.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But again, you have to take things like that on a case-by-case basis. You
Sure.
can't say that that's a general truth for everyone who might be associated with that number. There may be many different reasons why they're associated with that number. You have to study that person and understand why that number is associated to them in that way.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Will that do?
Oh yeah. So,
Yes.
I just got fired from my job.
Congratulations.
Thank you, right? Oh my God. Okay, so this
All
is the
right,
thing.
so why did you co-create that for yourself? What's that going to allow you now to do?
To pursue my excitement.
All right,
Fully,
congratulations. And do you have a particular expression of your excitement at this time that you would like to pursue?
Absolutely. Yes.
Which is what?
Hip hop.
Hip hop.
Yes.
You are turning into a kangaroo?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. And so, are you having fun?
Yeah.
And are you using the opportunity to discover whatever belief systems within you would create resistance to the idea of your excitement supporting you?
Well, I mean,
Does that mean yes or no?
can you ask it again?
I can. Are you using the opportunity of having been fired to make sure that you are in touch with whatever belief systems within you might?
Yes, 100%.
All right, thank you. So then, what else needs to be said?
Well, I got my last paycheck yesterday.
Yes,
Um,
but you still have other forms of abundance coming now.
Sure.
So
And I know this. I've been watching your videos for 2 years.
you
know what I mean?
know it or you think you know it?
I know it on an well,
You think you know
I think I know it. Sure.
Knowing, as we say, is synonymous with behavior.
Right.
If you really know something, you don't think about it, you don't wonder if you believe it, you just do it. It's in your behavior. If it's not in your behavior, you don't know it.
Well, I'm doing it now.
All right. Then you're doing it now. Now you know it.
Okay.
Keep doing
so
that.
just don't worry about it.
Why
do
should
what
you?
I got to do, and the funds will.
Whatever form of abundance that needs to support you to allow you to continue to do your excitement will come if you believe that that's how it works, if you know that's how it works.
Yeah.
You don't have to focus on the idea of it being in the form of funds. If it needs to be funds, it'll be funds. If
Right.
it needs to be a gift, it'll be a gift. If it needs to be synchronicity, it'll be synchronicity. Who cares what form it comes in as long as it supports you in a manner that allows you to keep doing what you love to do? Who cares?
So complete detachment
from the way
having
it
to
needs
pay
to happen.
rent or
Yes, because it
it's in
simply
God's
comes down
hands.
to, do you trust the way your life unfolds or don't you? Do you trust that the machine works or don't you?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, then there you go. Then why worry? Why throw that into the mix when it's not something you prefer to do, when it's not the energy you prefer?
Yeah. I
Yes?
just wanted to confirm. You know what I mean?
You
It's
are
very
confirmed.
synchronous. Thank you. Yeah.
Now-
Very synchronistic
Hop along.
timing. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Good day. It's so nice to see, feel you, and hear you.
And you as well.
Thank you. Most of my questions have already been answered.
This is synchronicity in action.
It's amazing. Even down to I wanted to speak to Willa, and having Willa already come through, I was going to ask what she actually looked like. So that was very synchronistic as well.
Well, she is somewhat thinnish. She is about 5 feet tall. She has reddish hair, but it has a thickness to it and similar in coloration to fox fur. She has larger, slightly larger than normal eyes. The irises are actually yellow gold in color. She has a kind of thinness and elfin quality to her face, although, as she pointed out, she's not an elf. She doesn't have pointed ears. She is very lithe, very agile, very active, very intense, a lot of fun, very spontaneous, sometimes very mischievous. That's Willa.
That's beautiful.
Yes, it is. And yes, she is.
Thank you. So I had a beautiful week in Sedona,
Oh, all right.
and the energy there is very beautiful and profound, and I wanted to ask about that because I
What
felt
about it?
a lot of things were amplified while I was there.
That's one of the things that it does. It's an amplification vortex. It amplifies and magnifies whatever you bring with you into that vortex.
That's right. So my first 3 days there, I was like, I need to get on a plane and go home now.
Yes.
I'm done. And then,
Yes. Remember when I talked about the idea of being exposed to our vibration will bring things up within you that may require integration?
yeah.
Well, the Sedona vortex does some of that. Not necessarily to the degree that being in our presence would do, but it's also one of the reasons why our ship is above Sedona. We are connected to that vortex because that's the energy that trains you to deal with those things by forcing them to the surface and amplifying and magnifying those things so you can't ignore them. So you have to deal with them or you have to leave.
I'm really grateful that I chose to deal with them.
Oh, all right, so are we.
It was really beautiful.
Yes.
And then it kind of took a paradoxical
Oh,
bounce
how
into
exciting.
the most amazing things happening in my life that have ever happened.
Yes.
And I walked the labyrinth. I actually flew through it like a bird. It was really fun.
Oh, all right.
And when I came out, I felt the most bliss I've ever felt. I felt so connected to the mountains and
Yes.
the trees.
Because you are.
Yes.
You are all one world. You're all one nature. Even with its individualized expressions, you are all one nature. Again, we will be discussing this in an upcoming transmission called Nature's Social Network
Yeah, I'm really excited.
to help
about
you
that.
tap more deeply into the idea of connecting and communing with all sorts of aspects of nature.
I felt like Sedona got smaller in a sense because I felt like I suddenly was
Yes.
I was friends with everybody there suddenly
Yes.
who was and then I ran into Bentino Macero, who is one
Yes.
of my biggest teachers, and
Yes.
by synchronicity I was like, I have to go get this chai, and I walked up the stairs and he was sitting there meditating.
When you really allow synchronism to unfold in your life in an effortless way, your life really does become that magical. You are exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be there, interacting with exactly whom you need to interact, exactly how, when you need to interact with them. It really just starts unfolding in a magical way. This is not just wishful thinking. This is the way it works because everything is connected. And when you allow synchronism to be predominant, it shows you that everything is because synchronicity is. your linear space-time way of showing that everything is one thing, everything is connected, everything is just different reflections of the same thing. That's what synchronicity is, but it has to play out in a space-time manner to some degree. But it can accelerate to marvelous proportions so that things just become magical. You know what you need and it's there.
Yeah.
It's not, again, about what you want. You know what you need, and it's there. And what you want and what you need start to become synonymous.
Wow.
You start not making a differentiation. You're not operating from ego. You're operating from awareness. It all just becomes one continual act and experience of giving and receiving, giving and receiving, giving and receiving, sending and receiving, sending and receiving, reflecting, 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 constantly. I understand that many of you have heard us describe how synchronism works on our world, but I'm here to tell you, you have no idea what our world is like. It is so much farther beyond what you imagine. It is, in your sense, overwhelming. But to us, it's natural. But we're flowing in a dream. We're really flowing in a dream. So are you, but you're only really awakening to that fact. But more synchronicity and more synchronism will demonstrate that to you. Yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think it's that time.
Time for your holotope meditation?
It is.
Then you may take a short break. We will resume the transmission to help crystallize and lock in the permission slip of the holotope to allow you to experience more reflections within Mirror Mirror. Take a break.
Thank you.